There are words that change everything, words that reveal the truth about a relationship you thought you understood. For me, those words came at 11:30 on a Tuesday night. We don't need you anymore. 5 words said so casually, so coldly, like she was commenting on the weather, not ending our relationship. I'm Loretta Johnson. I'm 57 years old, and for the past 5 years, I've been my daughter, Diane's emergency contact, her safety net, her bank. Every crisis, I showed up. Every emergency, I solved. Every time she called in panic, I opened my wallet until the night I offered to help, and she told me she didn't need me. Before I tell you what really happened that night and why those 5 words changed everything, I want to ask you something. If you've ever been made the villain for trying to help, hit that like button, subscribe because this story isn't over, and drop a comment telling me what city you're listening from. This is about the moment I realized my daughter never wanted a mother. She wanted a performance. And when I stopped performing, I became disposable. I need to take you back, show you the pattern, because that night didn't happen in a vacuum. It was the culmination of 5 years of crises. It started small. 5 years ago, Diane called crying. She and Kevin couldn't make rent. They were going to be evicted. $800 would save them. I paid it, no questions asked, because that's what mothers do, right? We protect our children. Then it was the car. $1,200 for repairs. Kevin couldn't get to work without it. They lose everything. I paid it, then the electric bill, 200, then groceries, 300, then daycare, 500. Every few months there was a new emergency, a new crisis that only I could solve, that only my money could fix. And I always said yes, always transferred the money, always rescued them. Over 5 years, I calculated that I'd given Diane and Kevin over $40,000, not loaned, given, because they never paid any of it back. Not once did Diane say, here's $50 toward what I owe you. Not once did Kevin offer to do work around my house to make up for it. Because these weren't loans, they were rescues. And you don't repay someone for rescuing you. You just wait for the next time you need rescuing. Tuesday night, I was in bed almost asleep when my phone rang. I knew before I looked. It was after 11. The only person who called me that late was Diane, and she only called that late when she needed something. During normal hours, she was too busy, too stressed, too overwhelmed with the kids. But at 11 p.m., suddenly she had time. I picked up. Hello, Mom? Her voice was tight, strained, the voice she used when she was about to ask for money. What's wrong, honey? I asked, already bracing myself. It's bad, Mom. It's really bad. I sat up in bed, turned on the lamp. What happened? And then she told me Kevin had been fired. Again, this was the third job in 2 years. Same story every time. The boss was unreasonable. The workload was too much. The hours didn't work. The company was going under anyway. Never Kevin's fault, never his performance, never his attitude. Always circumstances beyond his control. He just got home and told me, Diane said. Her voice was shaking. No warning. They just let him go. And we have nothing saved. Nothing. I wanted to ask why they had nothing saved. Kevin had been making decent money for 6 months. Where did it all go? But I didn't ask because I knew it would sound like I was blaming her. And then she'd get defensive and then I'd feel guilty. So I just listened. The electric bill is overdue, she continued. We have maybe 3 days of food in the house. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to survive. The panic in her voice was real, or at least it sounded real. After 5 years, I couldn't always tell anymore. My response was automatic, programmed by years of being the fixer. How much do you need? Not, what's Kevin going to do about finding another job? Not, do you have a plan? Not, have you looked at your budget? Just how much do you need? Because that's what I always said. That's what she expected me to say. I think 2,000 would cover everything, Diane said quickly, like she'd already calculated it. The electric bill is 400, groceries for a few weeks, maybe 500. The rest for other bills that are coming due, $2,000 on top of the 40,000 I already given. But what choice did I have? Let my grandchildren go hungry? Let them sit in the dark? Okay, I said. I can transfer it tomorrow morning. And that's when everything changed. There was silence on the other end of the line, not a relieved silence, not a grateful silence, a heavy silence, like I'd said something wrong. Diane, I said, did you hear me? I said, I'll transfer the money tomorrow. I heard you, she said. Her voice was different now. The panic was gone. Something else had replaced it. Something cold. Okay, so what time works for you? I can do it first thing in the morning. Actually, Diane interrupted. Never mind. I blinked in the darkness of my bedroom. What? Never mind. We don't need you anymore. The words hit me like a slap. What are you talking about? You just said. I know what I said, but it's fine. We'll figure it out. Diane, wait. But the line was dead. She'd hung up. I sat there in my bed, phone still in my hand, trying to process what just happened. Diane called me at 11:30 at night in a panic about Kevin losing his job, about having no money, about not being able to feed her children. And when I offered to help, offered exactly what she was asking for, she said, we don't need you anymore, and hung up. It made no sense unless she never wanted the money in the first place, or she wanted it, but she wanted something else more. She wanted me to beg, to insist, to prove how much I cared by fighting to give her money. My immediate yes was too easy, too willing, too calm. She wanted drama. She wanted me to panic with her, to feel the urgency, to drop everything and transfer the money right that second at 11:30 at night. And when I didn't do that, when I calmly said I'd do it in the morning, I failed her test. I called her back immediately. It went straight to voicemail. I called again, voicemail again. She'd either turned off her phone or blocked my number. At 11:30 at night, after calling me in crisis, she just disappeared. I sent a text. Diane, what just happened? You called asking for help. I offered. Why did you hang up? The message showed as delivered, but not read. I waited 10 minutes, 20, an hour, still not read. She was ignoring me deliberately. I sent another message. I'm confused and worried. Please call me back so we can talk about this. Delivered, not read. I put my phone down, stared at the ceiling, and tried to understand what game I just lost. I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't. I kept replaying the conversation, analyzing every word, every tone, looking for what I'd done wrong, because it had to be something I did, right? People don't call you desperate for help and then reject that help for no reason. We don't need you anymore. Anymore. That word stuck with me. It implied that once they did need me, but now they didn't. What changed between the beginning of the phone call and the end? What did I say that made me suddenly unnecessary? And why phrase it that way? Why not? It's okay. We figured it out. Or someone else is helping us. Why we don't need you anymore. So specific, so personal, so final. It felt like a rejection, like a breakup. You served your purpose. We're done with you now. At 8 in the morning, my phone rang. Marcus. Hey, Mom, did you talk to Diane last night? My stomach dropped. Yes. Why? She's telling people you refused to help her, that she called you desperate and you said no. I sat up straight. What? That's not true. That's not what happened at all. That's what I figured, Marcus said. Well, what really happened? I told him everything. The late night call, the panic about Kevin's job, the request for $2,000, my immediate agreement to transfer it, and Diane's response, we don't need you anymore. Marcus was silent for a long moment. So you offered to give her exactly what she asked for. And she said no and hung up. Yes. And now she's telling people you refuse to help? Apparently. Marcus let out a long breath. Mom, she posted on Facebook. I didn't want to look, but I had to know. I opened Facebook, went to Diane's page. There it was, posted at 7:30 this morning. Sometimes the people you think will always be there show their true colors when you really need them. Family isn't always about blood. It's about who shows up. And I'm learning the hard way who my real family is, but we'll survive. We always do. 37 likes already, 28 comments, all sympathetic, all supportive, all assuming someone, me, had let her down. I'm so sorry you're going through this. You deserve better. Blood doesn't mean family if they don't act like it. Who hurt you? You don't need them. And then the comment that made my blood run cold. Is this about your mom again? Diane's response, a broken heart, just an emoji. But it was enough. Confirmation without words, an answer without having to actually lie. Yes, this is about my mom. Yes, she let me down. Yes, she's the villain. I scrolled through more comments. Each one made me angrier. People who never met me, who didn't know our history, who had no idea what really happened, all condemning me, all supporting Diane's narrative that she was abandoned in her time of need. One person commented, parents who turn their backs on their kids when they're struggling are the worst. You're better off without that negativity. Diane liked that comment. Another, my mother did the same thing to me. Some people are just selfish, but you're strong. You'll get through this. Diane replied, thank you. That means so much right now. I wanted to scream. I wanted to comment on the post, to tell the truth, to defend myself, but I knew what would happen if I did. Diane would say I was making it about me, that I was attacking her when she was vulnerable, that I was proving her point. So I closed Facebook, put my phone down, and tried to breathe through the rage. I had to try, had to make her hear me. I called her number. It rang this time. She answered on the fourth ring. What? Her voice was cold, irritated. Diane, we need to talk about last night. There's nothing to talk about. Yes, there is. You called me in a panic. I offered to help. You said you didn't need me and hung up. And now you're posting on Facebook like I refused to help you. You did refuse. The audacity of that statement left me speechless for a moment. How? I finally managed. How did I refuse? I literally said I would transfer $2,000 this morning. How is that refusing? You made it seem like such a burden, Diane said. You sighed. You said you couldn't keep doing this. You made me feel guilty for even asking. I tried to remember the conversation. Had I sighed? Had I said that? Maybe I probably had, because it's true. I couldn't keep doing this forever, but that didn't mean I refused. That didn't mean I said no. Diane, even if I sighed and I don't remember doing that, I still agreed to give you the money. I said yes immediately, but you didn't want to. What? You didn't want to help. You just felt obligated. And I don't want help from someone who resents giving it. I felt like I was losing my mind. So you'd rather have no help at all than help from someone who's tired but still willing? I'd rather have a mother who wants to help her daughter instead of treating it like a chore. I've given you $40,000 over 5 years. My voice was rising now. How is that not wanting to help? See, you're keeping score. You're throwing it in my face. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not throwing it in your face. I'm pointing out that I've helped you constantly, and now you're acting like I've never done anything. Whatever, Mom. Believe what you want. I know the truth. What truth? That I offered money and you said no? That's what happened. I said no because I could tell you didn't really want to help. I was saving us both the trouble. And she hung up again. I called Donna immediately. I was shaking, crying, barely able to speak. Donna listened to everything. The phone call, the post, the conversation I just had with Diane. When I finished, Donna was quiet for a moment. Then she said something that changed my perspective completely. Loretta, this isn't about the money. This isn't even about help. This is about power. What do you mean? Diane wanted you to beg. She wanted you to insist on helping, to prove how much you care by fighting to give her money when you just calmly agreed it wasn't enough. It didn't feed what she needed. I thought about that. So she rejected my help just so she could be the victim? Exactly. And now she gets to tell everyone that you refuse. She gets sympathy, attention, validation, all while you're the villain who can't defend yourself without looking worse. Donna continued. And the worst part, if you had begged, if you had insisted and transferred the money at midnight, she would have found something else to be upset about, because this isn't about solving her crisis. This is about creating drama where she's the suffering martyr and you're the cold, unfeeling mother. I realized she was right, and I felt sick. Later that day, Marcus called again. I talked to Diane, he said. His voice was heavy. And she's sticking to her story. She said you offered grudgingly, that she could tell you didn't want to help. So she said, never mind. That's not refusing, Marcus. That's her rejecting my help. I know. I told her that. And she got mad at me, said I always take your side, that I don't understand what it's like to have a mother who keeps score. I felt tears coming. Did she really say that? That I keep score? Yeah. She said you throw the money in her face, that you make her feel guilty for needing help. I've never thrown it in her face, not once, until today when she accused me of never helping. Marcus sighed. I believe you, Mom, for what it's worth. But Diane, she's convinced herself of this version, and I don't think anything is going to change her mind. After I hung up with Marcus, I sat with a question that had been nagging at me. Was there even a real crisis? I called Kevin's brother, James. We'd always gotten along well. He was honest, straightforward. Hey, James, can I ask you something? Did Kevin really lose his job? James hesitated. Yeah, he did, 2 days ago. Are they really desperate? Like about to lose power, no food, that kind of desperate? Another pause. I mean, they're stressed, but Kevin had a severance package, 2 weeks pay, and Diane has her part-time job. They're not flush, but they're not about to be homeless. My heart sank. So the electric wasn't about to be cut off? Not that I know of. I think it's due in 2 weeks, actually. And food? They have food? Diane just posted yesterday about trying a new recipe. So yeah, they have food. I thanked James and hung up, and I understood. There was no emergency. There was a situation, yes, but not a crisis. Not the desperation Diane had described. She'd exaggerated, created urgency that didn't exist, called me in manufactured panic. Why? I talked it through with Donna again that evening. It was a test, Donna said with certainty. She was testing you, seeing if you come running, seeing if you panic with her, seeing if you prove your love through immediate, dramatic rescue. But I offered to help, too calmly, too easily. Where's the drama in that? Where's the proof that you care more about her than your own sleep? More than everything else? Donna's voice got softer. Loretta, she's been trained by you. Every time she's had a crisis, real or manufactured, you've dropped everything. You've panicked with her. You've transferred money immediately. You've shown her that love equals dramatic rescue. So when I calmly said I'd help in the morning, it wasn't enough, because it didn't look like the kind of love she's learned to recognize. So she moved the goalposts, rejected your help, and made you the villain for not trying harder. I felt defeated, so I can't win. If I help calmly, I'm cold. If I don't help, I'm cruel. If I help dramatically, I'm enabling. What am I supposed to do? Nothing, Donna said. You're supposed to do nothing because this isn't a game you can win. It's a game designed for you to lose. I had three options. Option one, try to defend myself publicly, comment on Diane's post, tell my side, show screenshots of our text, prove I offered help. But that would make me look defensive, petty, like I was attacking her when she was vulnerable. Option two, beg Diane to accept my help, transfer the money anyway, prove I care, win her approval, but that would reinforce the pattern, teach her that rejecting help gets more attention than accepting it. Option three, do nothing. Let her have her narrative. Let people believe what they want. Walk away from the game entirely. That option felt impossible, like giving up, like admitting defeat. But it was also the only option that didn't play into Diane's hands. So that's what I chose, silence. I didn't comment on the Facebook post, didn't defend myself, didn't try to correct the narrative. I just let it sit there. Let people believe what they wanted because Donna was right. People who wanted to believe I was a bad mother would believe it anyway. And people who actually knew me would know the truth. The rest, they didn't matter. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Watching people I'd known for years leave sympathetic comments on a post that painted me as cruel. Watching Diane soak up attention and sympathy for a crisis I'd tried to solve. But I stayed silent because engaging would only make it worse. And maybe, just maybe, my silence would speak louder than any defense ever could. Over the next few days, more posts came. Diane about rebuilding and finding strength in hard times, about learning who your real friends are. Each one a subtle dig, each one perpetuating the narrative that someone, me, had abandoned her. And each one got likes, comments, sympathy. I watched it all from a distance, didn't like, didn't comment, didn't react. Just observed my daughter building an entire story where she was the suffering hero and I was the villain who didn't care. And I let her have it because what else could I do? What would you have done? Drop your thoughts below. Then Marcus did something unexpected. He commented on one of Diane's posts. This isn't what happened, and you know it. Mom offered to help, and you said no. Stop lying to make yourself the victim. The comment stayed up for maybe 5 minutes, long enough for a few people to see it, to start asking questions. Then Diane deleted it and posted, it's sad when even your own family turns against you when you're at your lowest, but I guess that's how you learn who really loves you. People flooded the comments with support for Diane, condemnation for whoever had attacked her. And Marcus called me. I tried, Mom. I'm sorry. She just twisted it. I know, honey. Thank you for trying, but don't fight my battles. It's not worth damaging your relationship with your sister. She's damaging it herself, Marcus said, by lying, and I'm tired of watching her get away with it. 2 weeks later, something actually happened. Jayden, now 9 years old, broke his arm at school, fell off the monkey bars, bad break, needed surgery. The insurance covered most of it, but there was a copay, $3,000. Diane called. It was 3 p.m. Her voice was shaking, but not with manufactured panic, with real fear. Mom, Jayden broke his arm. He needs surgery. They're saying $3,000 for what insurance won't cover. I don't have it. Kevin just started his new job and won't get paid for 2 weeks. I don't know what to do. This was different. I could hear it in her voice. This wasn't a test. This wasn't a game. This was a mother terrified for her child. I'll transfer it right now. I said, what's the hospital account information? Wait, really? She sounded surprised. Yes, really. Jayden needs surgery. Give me the information. She did. I transferred the money while we were still on the phone. It's done, I said. The money should be there in a few minutes. Make sure they schedule the surgery as soon as possible. Thank you, Diane said, so quiet I almost didn't hear it. You're welcome. Let me know how it goes. I'm here if you need anything. And I hung up. No lectures, no conditions, no remember this next time. Just help, because this was real, and real crises deserve help. After Jaden's surgery, I waited for the Facebook post, thanking me, acknowledging the help, correcting the narrative that I don't show up for my family, but no post came. Diane posted about Jaden's surgery, about how scary it was, about how grateful she was for modern medicine and good doctors, but nothing about where the money came from, nothing about her mother helping, because acknowledging my help didn't fit the narrative, didn't give her victim status, didn't generate sympathy. Real help, quiet help, didn't have any drama value. So it went unmentioned, like it never happened. And I understood something important. I only existed in her story when I could be the villain. When I was helping, I was invisible. Marcus came to visit me a few days later. I saw you helped with Jaden's surgery, he said. Of course I did. Even after everything, after she made you the villain online. It wasn't about Diane, I said. It was about Jaden. He needed medical care. That's not negotiable. Marcus sat down. Diane's not going to acknowledge it, you know. I know. Doesn't that make you angry? I thought about it. It used to, but now I just feel sad for her. She's so invested in being the victim that she can't admit when she's actually loved, can't acknowledge when someone shows up for her. That's generous of you. No, I said, it's just the truth, and I'm tired of being angry about it. Over the next few weeks, I did a lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting on the last 5 years, and I realized something painful. I had created this pattern, not alone, but I played my part. Every time Diane had a crisis, I jumped. No questions, no boundaries, no teaching her to handle things herself. I just fixed it, threw money at it, made it go away. And what did that teach her? That she didn't need to be responsible, didn't need to budget or plan or prepare, because mom would always save her. It also taught her that crisis equals connection, that the only time she got my immediate, undivided attention was when something was wrong. So she learned to create crises, real or exaggerated, because crisis meant I'd show up. And when I finally started changing, offering help calmly instead of panicking, she didn't recognize it as love anymore. Because I taught her that love equal dramatic rescue, and anything less than that looked like neglect. I decided something had to change, not for Diane, for me. I couldn't control her narrative, couldn't make her acknowledge reality, couldn't force her to see me accurately, but I could control my own behavior. So I made a new rule. I would help with real emergencies, medical issues, true crises, things that actually mattered. But I wouldn't respond to manufactured drama, wouldn't engage with late night panic calls about bills that weren't actually due, wouldn't jump every time Diane needed me to prove my love. It was terrifying because it meant sometimes I'd have to say no or not respond or let her struggle, but it was also necessary because the old pattern was killing both of us. 3 weeks after Jaden's surgery, Diane called again. It was 10 p.m. Mom, we have a huge problem. My stomach tensed. What's wrong? The water heater broke. There's water everywhere. We need to get it fixed immediately or the whole basement will flood. But the plumber wants $500 and we don't have it. I took a breath. Is the water turned off? Yes, Kevin turned it off at the main. So there's no more flooding. Well, no, but we need hot water and the plumber can't come until we pay the deposit. Diane, this isn't an emergency. The water is off. You're not in danger. Call the plumber in the morning and schedule it for when Kevin gets paid. Silence then. So you're not going to help? I'm not going to drop $500 at 10 p.m. for something that can wait until tomorrow. Wow. Okay. I see how it is. Diane, you have options. You can take cold showers for a few days. You can heat water on the stove. You can figure this out. You know what? Forget it. We'll figure it out like we always do without you. And she hung up. The next morning, Diane posted again. When you realize you can only depend on yourself, it's both lonely and empowering, but at least you know where you stand. Fewer likes this time, maybe 15. People were getting tired of the vague posting, but there were still comments, still people asking what happened, still sympathy. And I still didn't respond because I learned engagement was what she wanted. Drama was her currency. And I wasn't going to keep depositing into that account. If you're still here, thank you. The ending might surprise you. 6 months passed. The Facebook posts slowed down, eventually stopped. Either Diane realized people weren't responding the way they used to, or she found a new audience, or she just moved on to other drama. I helped when it was real. Jaden needed new glasses. I paid. Amira's school had a field trip fee. I sent it. Noah needed shots. I covered the copay. But I didn't respond to emergencies that weren't emergencies, didn't engage with late night panic, didn't play the game anymore. And something interesting happened. Diane stopped calling with crises, not because she didn't have any, but because she learned I wouldn't respond the way she wanted. So she found other sources, friends, church, GoFundMe, other family members. And honestly, that was healthier for both of us. Then 8 months after that midnight phone call Diane called, it was a Sunday afternoon, normal time, calm voice. Hey, Mom. Hi, honey. I wanted to see if you want to come for dinner next Sunday. Nothing special, just family. The kids want to see you. I was surprised. I'd love to. Great, 6 o'clock. I'll be there. A pause. Then Diane said, and Mom, thank you for helping with Jaden. And the other stuff, I know I didn't say it before, but thank you. It wasn't a full apology, wasn't acknowledgement of everything that had happened, but it was something. You're welcome, I said. And we hung up, and I sat there for a long time processing. Was everything fixed? No. Were we suddenly perfect? Absolutely not. But maybe we'd found a new equilibrium, one where I helped when it was real and stayed back when it wasn't. One where Diane was learning that I loved her without needing to prove it through constant crisis rescue. One where we could maybe eventually have something healthier. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And sometimes real is better than perfect. So that's what happened when I offered to help. And my daughter said, we don't need you anymore. When she turned my willingness into rejection, when she made me the villain for offering exactly what she asked for. I learned something crucial through all of this. Some people don't want help. They want rescue. They want drama. They want the kind of desperate, frantic assistance that proves they're important enough to drop everything for. And when you offer calm, steady support, it doesn't register as love because they've been taught, often by us, that love looks like crisis and panic and dramatic salvation. Did things get better with Diane? Sort of. We're in this weird in-between space now. I help when it matters. I don't engage when it's drama. And slowly, very slowly, she's learning that I can love her without performing for her. Is it perfect? No. Will it ever be? Probably not, but I'm not sacrificing my peace for someone else's need to star in their own tragedy anymore. Have you ever been made the villain for trying to help? Have you had someone reject your support and then blame you for not giving enough? How did you handle it? Tell me in the comments. I need to know I'm not alone. If this resonates with you, please subscribe. More stories are coming about the impossible position of loving someone who needs you to play a role you can't sustain. And before you go, watch the next video. It's about the moment I discovered my daughter was teaching my grandchildren to see me the way she wanted them to, not the way I actually am. Thank you for being here. Thank you for understanding that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to participate in someone else's drama. I'll see you in the next one.